This is the Quantum Leap podcast, and I'm Peter.
And I'm Mikey, the Alex is Sam watching for the first time.
And you guys, today we have a first-time guest for our coverage of season one. Joining us, you guys know him from Quantum Leap slash AlexPlace.com is Mr. Brian Green. How you doing, sir?
Doing great.
Woo!
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. You're our Ziggy. We have mentioned it at least once or twice, in during our coverage. So that's why we have you on here is because you've been answering the plethora of questions that we have for you during the several episodes we've reviewed so far. And so we thought, be fun to have a guest, but also to recap the season, hear a third voice, give any sort of insights or suggestions, constructive criticism, what have you, on how we've been. Or things like that. We've also talked off mic, and you gave us some really great compliments there. So thank you for that. But let's see. Let's just hear from you first off. How has kind of been hearing some new blood? For those that you've told us, but for those that are listening, what has
How
it
much
been
do
like
you
for
love us?
you? How much do you love us? But having been a part of like the legacy crew, having been friends with Albie for as long as you have, and Christopher, Allison, and Matt, just to hear new voices on this feed, what's that been like for you?
Oh, it's great. It's great. And I love having the fresh, never before have seen an episode Mikey here, which is great. You get a whole new perspective. I watched it when I was 13 years old when it came out, day one. And so, being a kid and watching it for the first time is a lot different than being, how old I am now. And you see a lot of different things and you get different perspectives as you go along through the years. You might identify with the younger character, when you're a 13-year-old, and then, you know, later when you're almost 50, it's you're identifying with the dad or whatever like that. So yeah, it's great to have different ages and different ranges of personalities watch it and come up with different views.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I've mentioned it on any of our episodes, but I have told people that we're kind of going through the Full House series, the original run, and I'm watching them with my 5 and 7 year old, and it's hitting me differently as a dad now. I mean, I've been a dad for several years, over 2.5 decades now, um, but but I didn't watch it with like youngins before, but now I am having been a dad for as long as I have now, reintroducing it to my younger kids who love the girls. They love the Stephanie, your DJ, Michelle, and all of that. But me watching it when like the girls are learning lessons, I'm identifying with like, your Danny, your Jesse, your Joey. And
Yeah.
it's hitting me differently, for sure. And especially with like Bob Saget's passing. Yeah, so certain episodes, like I'm just bawling, because it's just so like it's almost not necessarily even meta, but like the things that they talk about, like there's an episode where a little tangent here, you guys. Sorry. Joey and Danny, they get into a fight, and then they talk about like, oh, well, there's these things that we buried as teenagers. Let's go dig that up, and I want my item back. And then they decide, okay, this is really stupid. We're best friends. We're gonna be friends for life. And then I'm just like, oh no, my Bob's not get passed. And Dave Coulier, you're gonna be, it's just you and John
Yeah.
Stamos. So yeah, so there's a little bit of that, kind of playing in, and they were my TV family growing up. But Sam he was the other person that I learned, the right and wrong from, right? Like I was a kid who grew up on television shows. I'm a child of immigrants, and so they were always working. They were always working, and so like all I had to babysit me was television and movies. And so, the Tanners were how I learned to be kind of your is it nuclear family? Is that the term for that, or blended family? Nuclear is
Yeah.
just the one unit, right?
Right.
Okay. So yeah, so for me, I was like, okay, blended family, that's the norm. I watched like Saved by the Bell, like, okay, these are teenage Americans, and like, the time traveling aspect. That's why I watched Quantum Leap. But then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm learning right and wrong too. Sam is here to right wrongs. So the things that he is fixing, that is wrong. Racism is wrong. Prejudice is wrong. So that's where I learned, and that's why, I
Yeah.
love the show
Yeah.
so much. So. And it's crazy to see like people who did also watch the show. Maybe some of that stuff didn't carry over to their lives, which is kind of wild, you
I
know.
don't know how
So
that happened.
don't know how it happened. Maybe they were watching other episodes. I don't want to mention in front of Mikey here, so he hasn't seen it. But Brian, you mentioned that it's I'm paraphrasing, but a little refreshing to hear like a fresh perspective. Have you listened to like any other shows that were kind of newbies, or has other podcasters been like, oh, I grew up as a fan of the show as well? Has there been
I
any?
think
Yeah.
it seems like most of them have seen it before along the years. You know, here or there, there's some. And I don't watch them all because, good Lord, there's so many hours worth of podcast. So,
Right.
but yeah, you guys are a fresh take, and you're really diving into a lot of details, and the tangents that you go off on sometimes are interesting too. So
Well,
it's
thank
been
you.
pretty
Okay. All right, cool. All right, awesome. So yeah, we're gonna do some recap of season one. Before I have you kind of like take over as like a quasi moderator to ask us about season one and certain episodes and what have you. I just wanted to let the listeners know at home what you guys will be expecting. Mikey did a little bit of research on some things about season one that he'll talk about in terms of awards, nominations, and then we are going to have our own little bit of I keep saying award show like an Emmys, like a Grammys, that's music, but so we're gonna call this the um Quantum Leapies. Or we're just gonna call it the Leapies. The Leapies. Okay, so not spelled like, someone who leaps, or like the fans of Quantum Leap. So the Leapy award. So that we have categories, 10 of them, which I will reveal prior to getting into that. So, Brian, if wherever you want to start, you've listened to a few of our episodes. If you want to pick Mikey's brain some more, what questions may you have for us about season one?
okay. Well, you're going to put me on the spot now. Just how do you feel about the start of it? What's the emotion you're getting from it right now, especially
Oh,
to Mikey?
yeah, I was gonna say, Mikey, you go.
Okay. So far, how I feel about the series. Like I feel like I'll see one good episode and then I see one that's not so great, honestly, sometimes. And I love the show
Okay.
overall. Um, I want consistency, and lore, which I probably just need to accept that isn't gonna happen, maybe. Um, and you're laughing, so I already know my answer to that.
It gets there. The first season
Yeah.
they're trying some things.
Yeah, I think that's the overall take of the first season is they're trying different things. Um, a lot of times I'll ask Peter, what year is this supposed to be, or what's happening here? Didn't we say something different before? But yeah, I overall I do love the series, and I love doing this show with Peter, honestly. And but yeah, there's a little bit of inconsistency in a couple episodes in the first season. I was like, okay, yeah, I could have done
Hmm.
without, but yeah.
For
So
me, I guess I guess I never really thought about it, but the stuff that we will learn about Al and Sam, again, I never thought about it. And so going through these episodes, I was a little expecting that like, oh, maybe every episode we're gonna learn a little bit about Sam or a little bit about Al, but there's been some times that we don't, and which is fine. But that's something that I was kind of expecting. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're just not learning anything in this episode. Okay, fine. So, but there's another thing that I remember in Starcross, we learned that Sam has like 6 doctorates, and I also have been expecting something else that we will find out about Sam that he doesn't know that he knows or things that he can do. Trying to be vague for Mikey here. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen it in season one yet. So I was like, wait, I remember this about Sam. We haven't seen it in season one. When does that come? And
Right.
so yeah, so it's interesting to see how the doctorates they didn't give us all six, right? Like, okay, we're just gonna give them like two, three right here, and then when we can, when it's opportune, we'll come up with those other ones. So I like the patience of not pigeonholing like the character of Sam, like, okay, this is everything that you're gonna need to know about who Sam is right now, and not leaving it open to like other things too. So, but Mikey, yes, there is something that like that there's just certain episodes you can see Sam doing something where I'm just like, it has not happened yet, all season one. So yeah, I know your face is scrunched because like I'm trying to be vague. I don't yeah yeah
Well,
It's
there's
fine.
things like
yeah.
Sam smokes a cigarette and what, Play It Again, Seymour, I think.
Yes.
Yes,
And
yeah,
that's
we
just completely out of character, and I don't think he ever does it again after
Uh,
that.
he he's he had a cigarette in Kamikaze Kid, but didn't like it. But then we also mentioned in Starcross he smoked the professor's pipe.
Oh,
Like,
that's right. Yeah, he did.
yeah. So it's kind of weird. So
But,
we're like, okay, a little inconsistent there.
right, right, right.
Oh, let me ask you this since I'm kind of thinking about it. Because we know they have not yet established it, but are we okay with just saying like, okay, well, for some of these moments where we don't feel or we feel that it's a little bit of out of character for Sam, can we say that it's the Leapy's like mind kind of meshing with his? Because again, like
Could be.
they don't really establish that till later.
Yeah,
But
they don't mention that until much later, really.
yeah, I mentioned in the Seymour episode, when he was going off on Seymour in the car, calling him a nerd and all these things, I felt that was a little out of character, and the fact
Hmm.
that we learned a little bit about Seymour's backstory earlier on, I felt Sam was a bit of a dick for that. So,
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
he treated Al pretty bad in the bar.
right,
Um,
yeah,
you know.
we didn't talk enough about that, but we did mention that little dynamic there. Um,
um I
yeah.
so I thought like after watching the pilot episode that he would try because it was very important for him to call his dad. Like he was
Mm.
trying to do that like in two different leaps and over those, or however you're counting those two episodes or first the one long pilot episode. So I thought like throughout the series this would be like an overarching thing where he's trying to talk to his family like every episode and really that hasn't I mean I think the only thing we've learned about his family so far is about his sister and uh Kamikaze Kid. So yeah,
Yeah.
I I expected more.
And
Yeah,
I
and I
do
think
wonder.
there's probably holes that open up in his mind as he goes along, and sometimes they close. So he may not remember, anything about his family one episode, and then, he has the memories back again another episode. That's what I
Okay.
think.
Right. And if I remember correctly, I remember reading somewhere that we call him DPB on the show here, Donna P. Belisario, but that the idea of the Swiss cheese was for the inconsistencies and stuff like that. That way they can be like, oh, well, he didn't know that,
Yeah,
and I guess that works for a show like this where like in syndication, they don't have to play in chronological order. They can have him leap wherever and anywhere. And so if we were kind of learning more about like Sam and Al along the way, like when you don't play the episodes in order, that's going to be a little confusing for the people. So that was the other. I guess just never really thought about that, but I just for me, it's like I'm sharing this show that I love with Mikey, and I just like, oh, I'm just when did you get to the good episodes, and like when are we
right.
gonna find
Oh,
out about this? And so
season
like we're
two
just
is really good.
yeah, yeah, that, but also the season two finale, all the stuff that
Oh
happened in
yeah,
season three, yeah, yeah, but yeah, there's a few episodes early on in season two I can't wait to get to. Also like hindsight, I did not remember. I mean, again, like we're talking about the different times in the writing and stuff like that. Rewatching how the test was won, I was like, not a good episode. Like I remember it being fine,
I
but I was
hate that
just like,
episode so
again,
much. Sorry.
yeah, just like this was not like this is not our Sam. He's saying things that like I'm clutching my pearls. Like Sam, you sound misogynistic here. And so yeah, it was moments like that. So that was kind of fun actually to still watch it and be like, whoa, well. Like somebody thought this was a good idea, you know. And I think somebody actually commented somewhere that like it was one of their favorite episodes, and I'm just like, please tell us why. Oh,
I
Brian,
felt so
yeah,
bad for that person.
Brian, what's your thoughts on how the test is won?
Well, I mean, for the ladies, Scott Bakula's got his shirt off half the time, so I'm sure that has
No,
a lot to do with
for
it.
the guys too, for the guys too. Like I'm
And
here for
some,
it. Let's
yeah.
yeah, give us more topless Scott Bakula.
Right, right, right. No, as a kid watching it, I didn't really think much about it because, I mean, this was what, 35 years ago. So
Right,
there were
yeah.
different ways of looking at things. And, you didn't, I don't want to say you didn't know any better, but you kind of didn't. I mean, it was just the way you were raised or brought up or whatever. Like, when Sam leaps into the black man, that was a big
Mhm.
deal. That was a
Yeah.
huge deal back then.
Right,
Now nothing. But that was like, oh my God, he's, leaped into a black man and he's white. This is
right.
crazy.
And
So
I
just,
just love his reaction. When Al pops up, he's like, "Hey, I'm black."
yeah, yeah. Like I could do anything now.
Yeah, right.
Um, and then in season two, well, never mind, Mikey,
Yeah,
sorry.
right.
Uh,
You can just message me and tell me.
right, 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 right. What were we talking about?
Just the stuff about season one. Anything you want to ask us
Oh yeah.
or thoughts of? Yeah, specifically Mikey. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. Well, I mentioned this to you off mic. You seem to like the Back to the Future references too, even though like a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of it we're just reaching, but it's kind of fun to kind of insert some of those too, just to kind of yeah, make it a little bit different, I guess. Because I don't think anybody else was doing that, because that was just something that I think I Mikey, did that happen in the pilot? Did we any mentions in Genesis? Probably, huh? Or
Yeah,
maybe. I'm trying to
I think
remember
I
how
just
we
brought
even
up that
started it.
I think I just brought up because like when he's the score sounded similar to Back to the Future score when he was the baseball player and he was
Mhm.
getting ready to what happens at the end there? Does he get a hit? I don't even
I
remember.
think he
He makes a
doesn't. Does
home
he
run. He runs
punt? Oh, okay.
runs across the bases.
Okay, yeah, it
He likes
just I was just gonna say as the pitch was being thrown, it kind of had a similar Back to the Future scorish kind of thing in my mind, but
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see
I
that.
think M Mikey picking up on that, or that, making him think of that made me go, okay, well, I'll keep an eye out for things like that. And I think that's just how it became a thing. And at that point, I was kind of having fun with it. So like, even if it's a reach, like it's still something. I'm not gonna like fabricate something, but like, okay, well, hey, lightning shot in Seymour, like that's like the clock tower almost. And like we both had a brain fog moment for a second where I was like, what was it? No, November 8th? No, November 9th? November
we're
12th.
horrible Back to the Future
Yeah,
fans.
like
Horrible. Yeah.
November 12th, 10:04 p.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had to check in our card for a hot second there because we're blanking on the date. But also we're covering a show here where we're getting like several dates like a episode too. Okay, I think if just nothing else in the recap, Mikey, is there anything else about season one you kind of just want to go over with Brian before we get into the award stuff,
No. We can move on. I'm afraid to ask questions.
or even questions that we've where we were like, oh, we should ask Brian that, kind of deal, because I know we asked about the hand link, we asked about the when Sam seems a little bit out of character. I know there's
Yes.
got to be some other things too.
Yeah, we
Did I say
really
the
should have
hand
wrote
link?
those down like in a list.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
yeah.
How do
Uh,
you how do you feel about Al being sort of a drunk
uh,
in
I
some of these
mean, I
episodes?
relate. No. Is he a drunk? I didn't
Womanizer.
really. Yeah, womanizer, sure. Yeah.
He's
yeah,
always
I we
nursing
were
a hangover.
yeah, we were confused about Tina until you clear that up, but there's several Tinas, I guess, or
There's a couple
yeah,
of
couple Tinas, yeah, sure. I think at one point I was putting way too much stock in the in Tina that he meets in the pilot episode. I guess that's not
It
wasn't
was
as
kind of a
important as
bad
I.
choice to have his girlfriend be Tina and that not be the Tina. It's confusing.
Right.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I don't know. We just opened with that, so I just thought that was a super important thing. And
Yeah.
it turns out it's not. So that's all. Yeah.
and what about, do you have any knowledge on why um they're referring to Ziggy as him, but then, is going to be voiced by Deborah Pratt later?
Oh.
Upgrades could be,
No, no.
or just a change in the timeline. He goes back and changes one little thing.
Okay.
Maybe that
Okay.
affects him somewhere down the road and he changes it to a woman's voice.
Okay. So that's almost kind of like, you can come up with your own, choose your own adventure for that choice. Okay. I wasn't sure if there was anything maybe like production wise that you might have been privy to from, like, any discussions out there with DPB or Deborah Pratt.
No, no, I think Deborah just wanted to do it, and they said yes, of course. So
Like, yeah, why not? Even though we've been calling it a him.
yeah.
It,
Who's gonna say no to
Well,
Deborah?
she voices. Well, gosh, I don't want to say. I don't know how much Mikey knows about the saga cell that changes in season two, because in season one it's Sam
Oh, because
narrating the opening.
right, right,
That
okay.
changes later, and someone else
So I, f-
narrates the end.
so I forget that I've basically been spoiling him without him knowing it.
Okay.
Uh,
it's all
yeah.
right.
Well, I mean, well, I guess I didn't spoil, Mikey. I've told you that, like, yeah, I don't, because I just said, like, well, they keep calling him a him, but we're gonna hear that Ziggy is the voice. But I forgot that, yeah, the Saga Cell, it changes. So, Mikey, you may have even, did you notice anything different with when you watched the season two premiere with it's so, Mike,
No.
Brian, can you explain the Saga Cell? Because it's not the same thing as like your cold open.
Yeah, the cold open, Scott Bakula is narrating it basically, right, for season one. And he does some
Yeah.
of that in season two, up until an episode sort of, I can't remember. I know which one it is. I don't want to say the name of it yet. Um,
Okay. So it wasn't
about
him.
halfway through season two,
Okay.
they start doing the
Oh,
saga cell, which introduces the whole show instead of just the previous episode.
Okay.
So at that point they can do reruns and insert them in there and it doesn't matter what happened before. You don't have to know any. I mean, you didn't have to know anything anyway, like Kamikaze Kid leaping into Seymour. You didn't have to know that. There was no, but they did that little segue, right? Well, in season two, about halfway through, they start just doing a generic saga cell, theorizing that one could time travel in their own lifetime. Dr. Sam Beckett, stepped in the quantum accelerator and vanished. And that continues on through the end of the series. And Deborah Pratt
Okay.
voices.
yeah.
I,
And
I
and
think I've
and
actually heard that before,
You
like
probably have.
probably
It's
just like
be
on
yeah,
hard
a
not to.
YouTube video or something. Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
yeah.
Um.
But here's
Uh,
something interesting, and you should know this ahead of time. This is a good spoiler. Lance Flegalt, who was in How the Teslas Won, he voiced the first Saga Cell. Only one episode, but you'll hear his voice do it.
Oh
oh.
wow. And he
Okay.
he played Chance, right? That was
Yes,
Chance.
good chance.
Okay. Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you can listen for the voice, and it's cooler if you know who it is.
Um.
Yeah.
Do I put too much stock into Ziggy because Ziggy's like super wrong
Is that,
No,
Brian,
often?
it doesn't get a lot
before
better
you
than
yeah,
Okay.
well, not a lot better, but Brian, also I feel it's been Ziggy light in season one, right? Like I feel in like future episodes, there's a little bit more of like more input from Ziggy that Al's feeding Sam.
Yeah, and I think, upgrades happened as they went. I mean, they would anyway.
Mm.
Like in real life, if you had something like that, you'd constantly upgrade it. So, it might have started out a little rocky because he did prematurely leap. He wasn't done with the project. So they probably had some people upgrading, upgrading. And, when you get into the revival series, if you guys think about doing that, there's a lot of things that change and people were
Oh,
like,
sure.
oh, they didn't do that in the old show. Well, the old show upgraded every season. So there's no
Yeah.
surprise.
For those that are tuning in at home and did watch the revival series, I mentioned it at least once, but I actually was a guest on, I believe it was episode 3 on the after show with Albie. I believe Hayden was on that one as well. And I remember, I don't want to say criticizing, but I was definitely I had some thoughts about the handling. And I think even Hayden's contention was like, well, it's been several years and so it's gonna go through upgrades. I go, yeah, but they weren't like active this entire time, and I wanted the handling to look like a version of it. The iPhone 1 through the iPhone 17 still looks relatively the same. The handling was
Yeah,
completely different in the revival. And so like as, not an expert fan, but as a fan nonetheless, I was just like, what the hell's wrong with that handling? I was like, it needs to look a little bit of like what we remembered,
right.
instead of like completely something different, almost like, oh, whoever manufactured that first handling was bought out by somebody else, and then they decided to go with like a different direction. So the whole thing. Um,
And
Mikey, any more questions?
the handling upgraded several times. We were talking about that
Yeah,
offline.
yeah,
The
we're still
pilot
not.
episode.
And he's not hitting bugs out quite yet, right? Like but I feel that's something I remembered him doing a lot more, and he kind of does, but I don't think it's been as noticeable. Mikey, have you picked up on Al like slapping or hitting
Yeah,
the
I've seen
handling
him
a few
do it
times?
a couple times. I mean, yeah, I do like the little cartoon noises that the handling makes. I think that's adorable. But
It's fun. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
Christopher showed us his handling with the sounds and all too.
Oh, that's cool.
It might have been before Brian popped in. It was he showed me on that announcement episode,
Oh, okay.
for our coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, he likes
Um.
it.
Oh, you too. Yeah. For those that are listening at home, Brian is literally flashing his handling. It's the lights are on and everything. It's quite beautiful. I would love that to put that next to my well, I don't have a real flux capacitor, but I have something like it that I can put up. That would be nice.
I got one for Christmas. Somebody gave me, just a smaller. It's not like a full size or anything, but it flashes the flux capacitor.
Nice.
Yeah,
There's got to be more ways to find out for those that want something like that. Like that's such a missed opportunity for somebody to like turn that into an actual merch, like a real one. So,
yeah.
um, Mikey, any more questions you could think of to try to clear some
Um,
things up with season 1 with Brian
I don't believe so. No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Well, you did some digging. What do you want to share about season 1 of Quantum Leap
So I'm a big awards show fan. I like watching Emmys and Oscars and Golden Globes and
and
all
Leapies?
that stuff. The what?
The Leapy?
The Leapies are, I mean, that's a top award show. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows who's gonna wear what to that show. Um, so I just wanted to bring up that season one of Quantum Leap was nominated for first of all for a couple of Emmy awards. Um, they were nominated for, or no, I'm sorry, they won two. Well, they were nominated and they won uh, two Emmy awards. One was for outstanding cinematography for a series. Roy H. Wagner won for the pilot episode Genesis, and an outstanding achievement in hairstyling for a series. Virginia Kearns won for Double Identity, which that had some really cool hairstyles for that time period, I think. So, um, and acting wise, uh, at the Golden Globes, Dean Stockwell actually won. He won for Best Supporting Actor in a series, miniseries, or motion picture made for television. And he was going up against Chris Burke from Life Goes On, Larry Drake from LA Law, Tommy Lee Jones from Lonesome Dove, and Michael Tucker
Hmm.
from LA Law. And
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's cool. I used to love LA Law.
yeah, I never watched it once, but
Good.
yeah.
Good show.
So Dean Stockwell and I watched the acceptance speech, and he thanks Scott Bakula, and yeah. So I just wanted to
Where
bring
did you
that up.
watch that? Al's Place or just YouTube?
YouTube, but yeah,
Okay.
no. Sure, I watched it at Al's place. Um,
I want to look that
I
up.
don't think that's on Al's Place. I need to
It's
find it.
not on Al's place. Well, it's gonna have to be now. They just advertised that it was. So, um, So I don't know if you have anything to add about awards or anything, but um,
I don't. Nope, I
Nope.
do
okay.
not.
And then
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, Mikey. Brian, I just remembered another question that we did have. Not in regards to season one, but about the show. Do you have any knowledge as to how they decide on the leap years, the dates that Sam leaps into? Because we felt like there was a lot of like 1956, 1955. It's like, can you guys get out of the 50s for now? Like just you know,
Oh yeah,
yeah, a
right.
lot.
Well, I don't have any insight on why they did it, but I can imagine they did it because it was 89 when they put the show out, and 30 years ago, just like Back to the Future, a lot of people loved it. So,
right.
Back to the Future came out in 1985, and Back to the Future 2 came out in 1989. So they were running
Hmm.
on the heels of that anyway. So a lot of 50s nostalgia, for people that are in
Okay,
their 30s, or 40s that were watching too. They picked up a lot of that.
Kind of
fair
like how
enough.
we're in
Yeah,
the 80s
because
now.
Yeah, it would
yeah,
be the 90s. If we went back now, it'd be like, 1995 or 2000.
well, they
Okay,
did that,
gotcha.
right? In Revival. I
They
think there
did.
was an episode like
It was
the
in
Watts
1995.
riots.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, I
So
did. I did watch that episode actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
that was a I think I told you, right? That episode also had the C.S. Lee, who was Master Kim from Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
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 All
Um,
right. Any other award stuff there for no,
that's all for now for season one.
that's all
Yeah.
for okay.
Not.
And what we have for season one is the not annual, but seasonal Leapy Awards. There we go, Leapy Awards, not the Quantum Leapies. We'll just call it the Leapy Awards. How about that? The seasonal Leapy Awards. We have 10 categories. The three of us brainstormed all day today on the 10 that, maybe the most fun to kind of discuss here. This is going to be easier because we only have 9 episodes, eight if you want to include Genesis as one whole one. It's going to be tougher once we get into your 23, 24 episodes. It's going to be a lot of options. But let's go over the categories real quick, and then we'll do a round robin style and give our answers and explain why. So, starting at the top, we will start with best costumed episode. The second one will be favorite mirror image. And Mikey, remind me again how we kind of described that one. That's just kind of like the your like the mirror image that kind of gave you the strongest reaction from the season.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously strongest reaction is however you define that, but just and that's what we're gonna go with for that. Favorite needle drop is the next one. So that is a song that is played in the show. This next one after that is favorite leap out. That's gonna be your teaser for the following episode. And I guess we can also kind of gauge that on like how excited would you be to, watch that next episode. Um, the next one took us a while to come up with this title, but favorite Al moment.
That took
We
a long
we
time to come up with.
it really did, right? Because
Uh-huh.
like it was like favorite Al moment question mark in parentheses, and it was just like something we need to kind of like highlight Al like every season. And so, I was just like, yeah, taking too long to think about it. Let's just call it favorite Al moment. But I was trying to think
Hmm.
of like something much more clever, something with a pun. I don't know. The one after that will have favorite leap. This is going to be the reason that Sam leaps into the episode, what he is there to right wrong, or right? Is that correct? Right, the what wrong he is there to right. There we go, got there. And then the final four, we have Best Supporting Actor, followed by Best Supporting Actress. MVP of the season one, that's going to be the standout guest star of the season. And then we're going to end it with Best Episode. Along with the Best Episode, we're also going to include as an honorable mention kind of our favorite episode. So this is something that Mikey and we discussed. Best and favorite are going to be two different things. Best episode is going to be best overall episode, the writing, the directing, overall episode, and also favorite episode doesn't have to be the best. Which one did you like the best? So If no questions there, we can start with our Ziggy, Brian Green. Sir, what do you have for best costumed episode?
Okay. Best costumed episode. I'm gonna say play it again, Seymour. I love the old detective costumes and the that kind of style. Claudia Christian's outfits were amazing, of course. And I loved Seymour's, with the glasses and everything at the newspaper stand, all that stuff. I love that whole kind of vibe and era. So I'm going to pick that one.
That's a good one. I like that. She does that black dress. She does. It's not a widow I've ever seen dressed like that.
Mm-mm.
I think I messed up whatever Seymour said. I was trying to do a play on that, but yeah, yeah, we talked a little bit about that at that moment as well. Uh,
Hmm.
uh, Mikey, what do you have for best costumed episode?
I am going to go with the color of truth. Um, I think the the outfits for oh, what was the main character's name that Sam leaped
Jesse?
into? Jesse. Thank you.
Jesse Tyler.
Sorry.
Yeah, Jesse
Yes.
Tyler.
Yeah, I like that. I like thought Miss Melanie had a good couple dresses and everything, and I think who were the two boys, Bubba or
Bob, Billy
Billy
Joe,
Bob and
Yeah, Billy
Toad.
Joe.
Toad,
and
yeah,
Toad.
I
Yeah.
I thought they dressed the part pretty well. So yeah, I thought it represented a good Southern 1950-ish era. So yeah.
It just occurred to me that I believe doesn't as Jesse Tyler he wears a brown suit.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, in Kamikaze Kid they also put him in a brown suit. So I wonder if there's something to that. Like maybe Scott looks good in anything, but that's two instances where he's put in a brown suit, which is not
Oh,
a
for the rehearsal dinner?
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yep,
Okay.
yeah. Because that was the image that I used too, so that's why I kind of remember him like in the brown. But I also remember in that suit, I was like, "That's a good looking suit on Scott," you know. Let me see, Brian, you mentioned the Petty Seymour. That Seymour's look, I do love that look. It reminds me of like Newsies, like I
Yeah.
love the Newsies movie, so
Oh yeah.
that's a good pick. I had Double Identity, so I'm glad that we got all th three different things. But Mikey, we talked about that wedding. Everyone looks fabulous. All the gangsters, wearing nice suits. Sam's hair looks great in that too. I know we removed the hair and makeup, but I thought for that period, everyone looked good, especially Teresa. If we're
Oh
gonna
sure. Yeah.
add a
Teresa.
few people,
Yes.
excuse me. The next category we have for the Leapy Award, um, is going to be favorite mirror image. So this is a mirror image that gave you a strong reaction. Again, we will start off with our guest, Brian.
I will just go ahead and say Genesis, the shower scene. Seeing that for the first
Oh,
time was fascinating. They choreographed it really well. It's not messed up like it is in the second half of the episode, with the baseball player, which is not that great. But the shower scene for me was just like, oh, this is really cool. I've never seen anything quite like this. So,
I'm a little mad I didn't pick that myself, but you explaining it, you're right. This is the first time. This is the first leap. He's kind of confused about like being called Tom, but he thinks his name is Sam. And then the sheer shock of like wait, that's not my face, you know.
yeah.
And so yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, this is a great one. Mikey, what do you have for favorite mirror image?
I have when we finally see Doc way at the end of how the test was won. Just
Your
because
favorite episode?
yeah, my fave. Because of every episode we normally get it very early, and this one we held off for a very, very long time, and it was for a reason. And I we finally saw Doc, and I guess we were to assume he was this ugly, hideous, horrible looking person, even though he just looked like a normal man, but still. But yeah, so that was my favorite just because of the way they used it in the story. That they waited so long to for that reveal.
I don't know
You
if
know
you
what?
talked about it, but the actor that plays him is in another episode later. You'll see him again.
Oh, okay.
I
Is he still
I
ugly, super hideous then? I don't like
He's the same
looks
guy.
like yeah, looks like a normal person. I'm like,
He's
okay.
just a normal, you know,
Yeah.
average
I
guy.
don't remember if I mentioned him specifically, but I remember mentioning John Grease as Roscoe from How the Test Was Won. It returns in one of my favorite episodes, I believe season 3 or 4,
Okay.
music related, you know. Um, let's see. This show seems to like almost nerd shame a little bit. Is that why
It
they
does.
think Doc is not a handsome guy because he wore glasses, so like 4 eyes, right? They nerd
Right.
Yeah.
shamed Cam, for just pimply dork. I'm like, what's going on here with like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
But
even the
it was the
baseball
80s.
player wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it just his hair. Like, are we shaming his hair? Like,
Yeah.
he looked like an athlete, just
Now,
like a regular athlete.
Gerald Bryant was rough.
Which one was that? Oh,
The
yes.
teacher
Talk
in
about a drunk.
Starcross.
The professor. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
right. Yeah.
I do feel that he kind of fits like, for like a teacher that teaches poetry. So, I think he fit the bill for that. That one, no, yes. That one that should garner some strong reactions for sure. You're right. Well, I didn't go with that one. For me, I went with one that I think is probably I feel would probably be one that a lot of people choose is Jesse Tyler. Kind of already talked about it. I think this was off mic, but just the fact that the what happens, like how do they close like something that has the mirror on it? I kind of forget
In the first season,
how.
it was double sets.
Okay. Well, when because Sam sits down first and he doesn't immediately see it, but there's something that happens after he sits down that shows the reflection on the mirror. Or am I mistaken in that?
Well, no,
I thought,
he sits down at the bar and then he looks across the room and he sees himself in the mirror. I don't think we
okay,
see both sides at the same time right there.
yeah,
But later in the episode, you see him leave somewhere and the door shuts behind him and you see mirror image swing, which is,
mm,
basically just the actor playing I can't remember his name. Shoot, I should know that. But you see him and he's kind of standing off to the side, which is how you see it in that case.
Oh.
yeah. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going back to the whole idea of like somebody returning for other episodes because I know it's gonna have there's more people that I know that were in several episodes that we haven't seen yet. But when we covered The Color of Truth, the gentleman that plays the son, I didn't remember him in the scene, and so when I saw it, I go, wait a minute now, wasn't he in another episode? So I had to look it up, and he too was in like a feature episode. I think that was season 5, right?
Yeah, I
Maybe.
think so.
Yeah. So I was just like, and then it might have been your website, but I did end up reading somewhere no, you know what? I might have just been making this up in my own head canon because I think it was oh gosh, the young lady Holly Fields. It was Albie's interview with her where
Yeah,
she talked about how DPB was considering bringing her back for the episode titled Runaway, and she was just going to be like the daughter or
yeah.
another girl in there. And so I think from that interview, that's where I was like, oh, that maybe that's why there's other actors that are coming back to play like different roles and stuff like that. I mean, maybe he just likes them, and so that's kind of cool. But it does kind of, for a time traveling show, it gets a little confusing,
It can,
when people
yeah.
are like, yeah, playing different parts. So that's it. All right, the next one we got is favorite needle drop. So this is a song from the entire season that maybe stuck out for you that you really liked. Brian, do you have one for that one?
It's gonna be one you're probably not gonna like. It's Let It Be Me.
Oh,
I
okay.
love it. Al singing it at the end is so ridiculous that it just makes me laugh. So
I do love that song though. I just, not so much the Al singing along with it.
yeah. And like I said, I
And
was
I
13 watching this. I didn't know any of these songs. This
Yeah,
wasn't music. And so all the music that came out of the 50s and 60s like that, I started learning when I watched this show. So
yeah.
that's a cool thing too.
This show did introduce me to some songs, and my dad was a musician, and he had several of these CDs, and so Everly Brothers, when I listened through that, I'm like, oh, this is that song from Quantum Leap. And
Yeah.
so yeah, very familiar with a lot of the music that's played. At least, like more so like the rock and up, like the some of the songs that Mikey was naming for like the number one song of this leap date. I'm just like, what is that? So some of those ones, yeah, not so much, but yeah, love me some Let It Be Me for sure. Mikey, what did you have?
I have Volare from
I consider that.
Yes.
Double Identity just because
Yes.
it was super hilarious. Um,
It's iconic. It's
yeah,
it's
just
a
Sam getting all into it. Al giving him the lyrics and Sam kind of sort of saying them, so, doing that a little bit. Yeah,
tap it
I,
on the mic.
yeah,
It's just gone.
Volare,
Yeah. What was
just
Don Gino's lines? Like, I don't want him swimming with the fishes. I want him singing a soprano. And then it cuts to like Al
yes,
or Sam. Just it's good stuff.
yes.
Yeah,
That is
so
good.
good. Probably
Yeah,
one of my I would say that's like that would be one of my top like funniest moments of like season one if we had that category.
hard
Uh
agree. Yes.
yeah. For me is a song I did list for my favorite needle drop of its episode, but it's Dancing Machine by the Jackson Five from the Right Hand
Ah,
of God. Yeah, we heard that faintly.
Oh, okay.
The Yep. The next one is going to be the award for favorite leap out slash the teaser. So the who Sam leaps into the next episode. Brian, who did you have for that one? Or I guess yeah, episode or person, I guess is fine.
just for the sequence of it, the coming out of Double Identity into Color of Truth. For me, being 13 in a white family and seeing this guy leap into a black man was a big deal. Um, so that was very impactful, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And there was this whole, we talked about this earlier, where there's this whole thing, even across the country, about talking about this and news stories and
Yeah.
all that kind of thing, because you just didn't do that. I don't know if it had been done before. Maybe it had somewhere along the line, but just to see that, and then the episode itself. Well, I'll get to that later, but that was a good one.
Yeah, I think the only times we've seen it before would be blackface. Your bamboozled to your soul
Yeah.
man, was he Thomas Howell,
Oh God.
stuff like that. Yes. Mikey, what did you have?
Also the leap into Color of Truth. It was of all the leap outs, everything, it's just the entire season up to that point was just like cute little scenes that I just thought, oh, okay, cool. Little teaser for the next episode. But that was a big deal. And I even think I said at the time, like we did a mirror reveal. We did the mirror image like right away. Like, hey, just so he's a black man. So it's shocking when I saw it even today in 2025 at the time. So yeah,
Right. Yeah, that was a really great observation because you pointed it out like, oh, this is the first time we're actually going to get the reflection right here at the end. And so I was like, oh yeah, yeah, okay. And I guess I kind of forget that Double Identity has two reflections. He's also Gino, but my selection is also The Color of Truth. Uh even as a kid, like Sam leaping into Black Man Alone aside, you already kind of pick up like the tension building up in that room. You see Toad and Joe Bob, Billy, whatever the heck his
whatever.
name was. Yeah, you
It's
see them in the
immediate.
background. Yeah, that just and everyone's just staring, and you can hear a pin drop.
The
And
hush,
so
yeah.
yeah, that already gave you the sense of like, oh shit, he's somewhere he's not supposed to be, and he's also the wrong color. And so, yeah, it was definitely one where like, ooh, well, I gotta tune in next week for sure to see what happens. Um, let's see here. The next one is our favorite Al moment. Brian, to you.
I I love just because it's hilarious the dumpster scene in Kamikaze Kid, where he's wearing that silver jacket and he stands naked in the or pantsless anyway in the dumpster, and he's talking to him with the red glasses on. It just kills me. I love that. I love that scene.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. And but maybe I'll just hold on to my thoughts in case these thoughts may come up later on whatever. Mikey, what about you?
I put down that when he is helping Sam box and the for the during the right hand of God, and he kind of holograms and morphs into was that Tiger Joe Jackson, right?
Yeah, I
And
am the Tiger, Joe Jackson.
yes, yeah, that. Um, yep. Uh, Lord. Um, but yeah, Sam or bails Sam out of a lot of jams this entire season, I'd say, and yeah, that was my favorite one. I thought, uh, that the and probably more than anything. I mean, he does help Sam fly, but I think Sam's not really a fighter. He didn't really know how to box, and he helped him defeat him. So yeah.
That's a really good one. I actually had that until I changed it because I had remembered another moment about Al. So my favorite Al moment from season one is in Starcrossed. It's when he shows up in was it a bar? You know, like and then he's like glowing and stuff.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's the whole it was the charades. You know, it's like oh, look at the sash. You
with the
know, it was all of
hieroglyphics.
that.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
the
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the hieroglyphics, you know, and the fact that this is when he's like, "Oh yeah, Sam, you have like six doctorates," and one of them is like, that thing. And then Sam's like, "Oh, I don't know,
Yep.
that is yeah." I just love the whole sequence. Scott Bakula was funny as hell. But it's um for me, the reason I picked this one is because what it meant, what Al was doing, because he could have been kicked off the project for sharing the information with Sam at that point. So that's why I went with that one. But
That's a
great,
good.
hilarious scene, and as the kids say, Al was a real one for that. Uh, so the next one, the next Leapy Award is going to be for favorite leap. So your favorite mission of season one, Brian, to you.
Once again, the color of truth. I love it, start to finish. I also love Driving Miss Daisy, the movie. So that that played some into it because it's very, obviously very similar. Have you both seen that Driving
I
Miss
have
Daisy?
not I have not seen it since I was a kid. And I was
Yeah,
actually going to ask. I don't know when's the last time you saw it and whether it holds up or not for those that kind of watch it with like 20 plus eyes.
yeah. It's been quite a few years, but it's a really great film. Jessica Tandy
Okay.
is amazing, of course, and
I
Morgan.
mean, it got several nominations if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah,
For the
I don't know if it won anything or not, but it definitely should have. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, the comparison between the two were really good. And Driving Miss Daisy actually came after this episode. So,
right. We saw that on your. Oh, I saw it on your website as a fun
oh,
fact
okay.
kind of thing. Mikey, to you for favorite leap.
I put down the right hand of God. I like that his overall mission was to help Sister Angela build. Um, was he building an orphanage? You know what? I forgot now.
I think it was just a
Um,
chapel.
just a chapel. Like I thought of all his missions between helping Buddy Holly find lyrics and helping
Very
Grandma win
important.
at bingo. Yeah, I like
See
that
more
one
with the
most.
book.
I
You
loved
know.
it.
Yeah. Um, I thought helping Sister Angela was the most noble and probably one of his most important missions that he's done in the first few episodes here during season one.
Yeah, I like that one. I like Brian's pick as well. For me, I went with Kamikaze Kid.
Mm.
Everything that we learned about Cheryl and the fact that I might be reading more into it than was actually there, but I mean, I guess it was kind of in dialogue too. But Sam almost sees this as a second chance to help his sister. This is his leap sister rather than his real sister, but same kind of thing, abusive relationship and stuff like that. And if I'm not mistaken, Mikey, wasn't this the first episode that we actually got like a follow up? Like this is what happens with Cheryl. She meets her husband in Chad or whatever, or they're in Chad. And so it's like, wow, that impact of that. So like I was like, oh, that was like Sam leaping in to help Cheryl. That was impactful, but also like Sam, um, well, it was Al that saved Miss
Melanie.
Melanie, yeah. So it was Al that saved her, but the fact that she survived the Back to the Future 3 train uh,
Good Lord.
allowed her to do what she did at the end and invited Jesse to sit down with her at this establishment. And hopefully that starts to kind of like make some changes in their town. We don't know what those changes are. That's why I opted for like, well, we know what happens with Cheryl and all the things that happen to Kamikaze Kid, but also I can't, maybe we don't have a favorite Sam moment, but a high contention would be when Sam just grabs Bob, the back of the neck, like, oh, bruise, like when somebody
Oh
approaches
yeah.
like this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And listening back to the Legacy guys talk about it, Christopher DeFilippis also said that was like one of his favorite moments. I'm like, yes, yes,
Yes, yes, it's true.
more more ass kicking Sam, please. All right, the next Leapy Award is for Best Supporting Actor. We're getting close to the bottom there, and so not Mikey, but Brian, who do you have for your Best Supporting Actor?
I have Willie Garson, who played Seymour and played
Okay,
again Seymour. I love that guy.
nice.
Um, just the nerdiness of him, and with the dropping of the glasses and doing all the lingo in the background. The lingo killed me. I loved it, but he really pulled that off. And also because he's in another episode later, Mikey,
Oh, okay. I
very
did not know
important
that.
one.
I believe Mikey wasn't he both of our MVPs for that episode?
Yes. He was mine,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he was both of ours. And I was just now thinking about it, Brian, because you mentioned like him dropping the glasses. I think back in the day, they used to be like straight up glass, right? Like they're actually, they weren't like the lighter, whatever. But I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, man, whoever did the Foley work, like that, you really got the sense of like that's some heavy ass like glasses that like
Yeah,
the lens, yeah, just really thick and actually sound like a bottle, a bottle dropping or something. So
that's
yeah,
true.
shout outs
Yeah, the sound
to
effects you don't think about it all that much until you really think about it and how
yeah,
they got it to sound like that. So
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
good
really,
point, actually.
yeah, yeah. Let me some Seymour, but the actor Willie, yeah, I'll guess yeah, we'll put a. I feel like I might have read that somewhere, but I can't place the episode right now. So looking
Have you
forward
seen
to his
all
return.
Peter? Have you seen you've seen all of them or no?
I've seen all of them. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, some much lesser than others. Like there's some that I'm sure I've only seen like one time, but I can tell you episodes where like I vaguely remember, but I know like for example, no spoilers, but to Brian, there's an episode with a cast member from Friends.
Yes.
Yeah, so I
Oh.
remember the episode, but I don't remember much happening. So there's a
Yeah,
few of those,
they
you
were
know.
a minor kind of side characters,
Yeah,
Hmm.
okay.
before they got a
Yeah,
nose
so
job. So.
right. Yeah. Uh so Mikey, your best supporting actor. Did you have the same one again or
No, I
oh okay.
have Mike Genovese. He played Don
Oh yeah.
Gino.
Yeah,
Yep, Don Gino, Mike Genovese. Yeah, I went with Genovese, yeah.
Okay, I yeah, that was my hesitant. I'm not good at pronouncing names. Yeah, he played Don Gino. Um, I thought overall, of all the characters that were a threat to Sam, he was the most threatening to him. He scared me at points in that episode, especially when it razor to his neck in the bar in the hair salon. So yeah, I uh I picked him.
Hand me the razor, Teresa.
Yeah.
Is
Um,
it Teresa?
yeah, I too have Don Gino.
Ah,
Yeah, everything you just said, I co-sign. Especially having that come after, I don't know, I don't remember it was the immediate episode after, Right Hand of God, but we talked about Dean Stockwell's brother who played like Mr. Edwards or whatever it was. We're like,
yeah.
we don't, he didn't seem that menacing, like I wouldn't mind being like, I would not be scared to like get into his limo and have him like talk my ear out. Like, I didn't feel that threatened. Don Gino, I did, but also, um, not just because he was menacing as Don Gino, but also the physical comedy, no dialogue, Sam looking off to the, his left, and Don Gino is just like, what's he
Yes.
looking at? He's looking at Sam's like, am I looking at the right thing? Like all of that. It was just perfect. And yeah, so he is someone that when I think of Quantum Leap, I always think of him as like just one of the characters, even though he's in like the one episode. He's just a very memorable villain for me. Best supporting actress to Brian.
Susan French, Color of Truth. Um, Miss
Oh,
Melanie.
Melanie. Yep, yep, yep.
Yep, she's my favorite. Um, Almost enough said. The acting was
Yeah.
great. I loved how she portrayed the character. She made me believe she was in that time and she was that way. And, I knew older ladies that were like that. And to change their mind about anything is a hard thing to do. So I thought that was very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and also like her character was funny.
Yeah.
Like when Al was yelling at her, she's like, Charles, you didn't have to cuss or swear or
Yeah.
so like she was kind of the comedic relief in that episode. She had some really great one-liners. Mikey, what about you?
For me, it's Terry Copley as Dixie. Sometimes we call her Trixie on this
Oh,
show. Um,
no. And we, you mean me?
yeah. Uh, sorry. Uh, but I think I said in the episode, she reminded me a lot of Marissa Tomei from My
Mm.
Cousin Vinny. She, is she was very money smart, very very put together, I guess I'm trying to say. She was the smart one out of that couple. I felt in the right hand of God. So yeah, I was a fan of her.
Yeah, she was pretty driven, she stood up to Roscoe, right?
Hmm.
In that one sequence, she tells it how it is. She wasn't, she's not scared of like Mr. Edwards, which we were also trying to figure out. Like, well, she's on a first name basis with him. She called him Jake. I was trying to figure
Yeah,
out like they must have some history, or maybe maybe that's how she met Cody was through him or something. So there was some good stuff there written for that character. But the fact that one of my favorite lines of hers was she she was telling Sam as Cody, like, you're the only man that like trust me with, your money, and she might have listed two things. Maybe it was just the money, his maybe his career and his money or
it was
something,
something.
but
Yeah,
yeah, but that whole dialogue there, it really worked for me, and the fact that they had this dream of opening a donut shop, I was just like, I would
I
love
love
to
donuts.
see. Yeah, I'd love to see a little flashback or a flash forward rather and see kind of where they're at, and hopefully they lived a happily ever after. So, um, really great one. For my best supporting actress, I had Romy Walthall, at the time Romy Windsor as Cheryl Wilson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of it was also the way her character was written. It just made me really fall in love for her and just really wanted the best for her and to get away from a guy like Bob. And so, and to hear like how her life ended up afterwards, uh, she was kind of uh she well, and the other things is like she other people played ranges well as well, but she's in this abusive relationship, right? And I think many of us, if we haven't been in it ourselves, we know somebody that has, and it's difficult to like tell the truth. You're always trying to apologize for the person, and she had a lot to do, in my opinion, in that episode, from trying to protect Bob to like, all right, hearing Sam out a little bit as her little brother. Ultimately, I mean, unfortunately, it had to be like Bob almost killing him, like attempted murder for her to be like, all right, that's not a straw. But yeah, I was very very much in love with that character. So maybe she should have been MVP. Who knows? But speaking of MVP, Brian, to you, who is your MVP of season one? This is your standout guest star.
Uh, There's so many. I'm gonna say two because I
Okay.
like both of them a lot. Claudia Christian, I thought her character was really good. She pulled that off very well. Played the style just right, and had that kind of look. And then also Holly Fields, kind of a minor character and inconsequential almost, but I've met Holly, and she's just a great, very nice person. She did a little segment on my 25th anniversary video last year, which was very nice of her to do. So I got to give her a little shout out because she's so cool in person.
I really loved her interview with Albie.
Yeah,
So yeah, I get that. Did you listen to our Kamikaze episode?
yeah, yeah, I sure did.
Yeah,
You were talking
I
about her age quite a bit there
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Well, I guess it might have been at some point. I don't remember which episode it was, but I had mentioned to Mikey that I listened to that interview, and in that interview, Albie says, "Oh, we got some listener questions," and one of them happened to be mine. And
Oh
so I
yeah,
was just yeah, he's like, "Oh, and this one comes from Peter." I was like, "Whoa!" So
oh that's
it was
cool.
pretty crazy. Yeah, and so like here I am now on the Clone League podcast. Um, so and yeah, that's a good one. I did like what was her character's name? I'm blanking now.
Jill.
Jill. Holly Fields, I can remember. Jill, not so much. But I did like that character. But I criticized that character at first as like, I don't know if we needed her. But then
Right,
I kind of remembered like, well, the car stuff, like two car scenes with Sam. So like, so I did like that. But yeah, maybe he could have leaped out and had Cam come in for the kiss instead. But I
right, yeah.
think. Yeah, we're probably thinking that, they didn't really know her real age at the time. When you're that young, you want to let them know that you can play up, and once you get to a certain age, you're like, hey, I can play
Yeah.
down too now.
It could
So,
be. She had an agent, so I'm surprised if they didn't know, unless the agent
mhm.
lied too. Um, but I've heard her talk about it in multiple ways, and she always says that she's the one that went for the kiss, and they wanted it to be a little more reserved. So I think when Sam, if you watch the kiss, he kind of backs up a little bit and looks surprised. I think that's probably real.
Oh,
Hearing her tell it.
I, I
So
don't blame her. This is Scott Bakula. But yeah, just being kind of like I don't want to say pedestrian with her character, but I was just like, okay, Jill's fine or whatever. But listening to that interview, I became a fan of her and like the character just a little bit more now, just
yeah,
kind of learning about her. So I really liked it. Okay, let's see, Cheryl Wilson. Okay, so yes, the next one is MVP. Mikey, that's you, right? You're next for MVP.
Yeah, I had Terry Hatcher as Donna in Star-Crossed. Uh, I don't know. I like I don't have like a
Let me l-
specific reason. I just think she
Let me
did a
jump
great
in.
job. Sure,
Yeah,
go
she's
ahead.
also mine. She's also
Okay,
mine.
great. Yeah.
And I remember, like her role in in that episode and all of that. But I guess it's just another one of those things that now I am an adult. I'm almost kind of putting myself in like Sam's shoes, and that whole episode, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I see it, Sam. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, there's just she's smart, and I love the when Sam as the professor is like, oh well, let's go, meet up whatever, and she chooses the library because it's it's public, and so like she's very thinking two steps ahead, and for those that have seen the series, we know kind of. I'll leave it at that. I won't go further.
no, Peter.
Uh, yeah, yeah, but Terry Hatcher for at that time I hadn't I don't think yeah Lois and Clark comes out a few years after that. But
Yeah.
that's my first exposure to Terry Hatcher, and now going back, I'm just like, well, like she like this was the first thing I knew her as, and she was already this good, you know.
Yeah,
So like I didn't
She has a
watch Lois.
presence.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. That's a really great phrase there. But I didn't watch Lois and Clark for her because I didn't know her from anything else. I watched Lois and Clark for Superman.
right.
And so I'm just yeah, I was blown away. I was like, man, she was actually very, very good for like what was probably her first big role, even though it was a guest star. So
That's a good point. And like I said, I watched it when I was 13. So as a 13-year-old teenager looking at Terry Hatcher, Seinfeld.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
I was what, 6? I was 6 years old. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
different.
didn't quite think that, but going back, I'm just like, yeah, I always found her attractive. I watched a little bit about the Desperate Housewives and stuff, but I never really followed her career. But
Yeah.
what I know her most is from Lois and Clark and this episode. So,
Oh, sure. Desperate
uh,
Housewives. I watched a little bit
yeah,
of that. But yeah, again, being older now, watching it, you're right. She's very smart. She's not going to just run off with just anybody. She's reserved, and Sam, I think, knows what she's going to become, which makes it a little more powerful.
yeah,
Um, because they
yeah,
eventually
and
went to the altar. Never actually got married, but
yeah, and it might have been a little close to home for me too. Like, she had her dad that served, and she was estranged from, but I served, so I know what that's like to be a part of the away from the family. But that dynamic as well with like her dad and all that stuff, and the way she plays that the vulnerability of that character, I was just like, oh my God, I'm just like, was she nominated for an Emmy for this episode? Because she was really good. So,
yeah.
She
And the
uh,
was.
dad played good. He played it really good too, even though he had just a little short scene. I've
yeah,
actually met him too. He's a good guy.
mm,
But just
yeah, yeah.
it's interesting because some of the actors are only on screen for like 2 minutes, and you
Yeah,
remember from that 2 minutes. So that's really saying a whole lot.
that's
Absolutely.
impactful.
Yeah, testament of the writing. So that's something that I like to kind of point out, just like, oh, look at this. Like, it might be nothing to somebody, but like, you know, um, I've interviewed several writers in my time, and so, like often they say like, everything is on purpose. Or I guess nowadays it's you have to be really um when you write on a show that's like 30 minutes and stuff, you have to be like really mindful of like the language that you're using to convey what you want to say and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I just thought the writing of a lot of these episodes, like you mentioned, the dad having like a very short scene, but also there are certain things that they didn't even need to show us. You could kind of fill in the blank, kind of like when the door opens and Sam is no, not Sam, Sam is off to the side, but she is standing there in front of him, but she's looking at Sam. You already know that they discuss like, you'll be all right. I'll be right here. We didn't see that scene, but you can tell that's exactly what happened, and that's also good writing, even when there's no writing. That's the staging of it in the script. So anyway, inside baseball for those that uh, that aren't privy to that stuff. Okay, and now for the big Leapy Award here for the very first one, best episode, and we will first start off with your favorite episode as an honorable mention, and then list your best. So, Brian, what did you have?
Oh, honorable mention. Okay, I forgot about that. Let me think about this really quick.
You want
Honorable
Mikey to go?
mention. Yeah, go ahead, Mikey.
Okay. So honorable mention as my, I guess, favorite episode is Kamikaze, sometimes Kamikaze. I don't know. Yeah. I thought the story with Cheryl was great. Not like a huge car person, but I'm into Chevys and stuff, and I like the time period. Um, I love the speech that Sam gives as the best man at the rehearsal dinner. And I loved how it dealt with physical abuse and how Sam and Al find out a way to kind of outsmart. I can't remember the character's name, sorry, but the fiance at the, you know, and so
Bob?
um, Bob, yeah. The only thing I hated about it is Michael Jackson showing up. So yeah.
Brian, what are your thoughts on that?
I It's different. It's different between the times I watched it before and now. Because
Sure.
when you're younger, you're like, oh, that's cool. That's Michael Jackson. When you're a teenager or whatever, and you're like realizing who it is. And
Hmm.
of course, Michael Jackson had some great music out back when I was listening to him.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, that was a little cheesy.
Yeah,
But they're just
yeah.
dancing in a bathroom. What's happening?
It's just really out of place.
Yeah.
That's it. Just super random. Um,
Right.
okay, so that was and then for the best episode?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if we're doing both at the same
Oh
time.
yeah,
My
yep, yep,
bad.
yep, just do them at the same time. Yep.
All
Because
right.
it'll just be one and the same. Yeah.
Gotcha. So best episode to me is The Color of Truth. It I mean, you learn about segregation in school, but you don't see it depicted too often, I don't think. At least not anymore, really. It should be probably. And it's still an impactful episode, but 30 some years later. There's if someone watched it today, there's still something that we can all learn from watching it. And yeah, it just watching it just it was a rich episode. I just thought there was a lot going on. I thought it could have been a 2 hour episode because there was so much to say. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I think it was the best episode of the season.
I remember when on my first rewatch to kind of take it all in. And I was just like, man, this like I remembered it being a really great episode, and I just like it holds up, it's still very good. And I was just like, who wrote this? And I was like, Deborah Pre I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. Like I just, but I had wondered, and I think I mentioned it to Mikey. I don't remember if it was on or off mic, but I was wondering. I was like, well, if it was a white writer, like I was wondering, were they consulting with like someone like a Deborah Pratt or whatever? Then when I saw it was Deborah, I was like, oh, okay, well.
Yep.
There we go. That's why. That's why it was a good episode. So looking forward to more of her. I didn't really look at names like that, especially writers and directors. As a kid, it was just like who are in this movie. And so
Right.
as a podcaster, that's when I started paying attention to more like the bottom line people. Um, but yeah, really good one. Brian, we'll actually end it with you since you're a guest. We'll end it with you, but so I'll go ahead and jump ahead of you.
Okay.
For my favorite episode, as an honorable mention, I had oh, okay, that's what that means. Color of Truth. I put COT. I was just like, well, it's capital C, lowercase o, capital T, so Color of Truth. And I was just like,
That makes
because,
sense.
I was like, wait, kamikaze? I was like, no, Color of Truth. So that's my honorable mention, and I guess I already just kind of explained why. And for my best episode, I think I did it this way because I felt like Color of Truth was going to come up anyway, and I wanted to give Starcrossed a little bit more love. Um, Going into this, Starcross was our second episode, and I hadn't seen it in a really long time. I remembered how the professor looked.
Yeah.
Okay. I remembered Oscar and the young
Uh,
gal. I forgot her
uh,
name. Uh,
yeah.
Oh,
Her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Blanket on the name, but so I remember the couple. But the biggest things I remembered was definitely Donna Elise and the whole dad thing. I did not
Jamie
remember
Lee.
it being Jamie Lee. That's right. Yeah,
There
it
you
was on her notebook. Yeah. I did not remember it being the Watergate. I remember that happening at the end of the episode. I didn't remember it being Watergate. And also, I actually ended up enjoying the Jamie Lee Oscar kind of quasi love triangle. And this time around, I was just like, oh, this is funny stuff. And also it was the first time we saw Sam punch somebody. Like Oscar opens up the door, punches him. They go to a commercial break, come back. Sam gets up, punches him back, and so I'm like, yeah, so we got some fighting Sam, literally and figuratively. And so I think for me, yeah, I didn't remember being I didn't think like Starcross being up there for me, and I was blown away by how good it actually was for our review, and also like just some of the funny stuff that I just didn't pick up on before. Jamie Lee is in the house with Sam, and then he does that thing where it's like, oh, it's like Lancelot or whatever, and whatever he was saying, he was trying to just get her out of the house. And then like she's looking off into the distance, trying to imagine what he was just saying. And so like he kind of like does the Homer Simpson where he, kind of like backs into the house. And then like he one more physical beat where he just like looks through the blinds. I'm just like I didn't remember any of that. And for it being the second episode, I was like, man, it's a really polished episode. It was funny, and I also cried. And so for all of that, that's why I have it for best episode. Obviously, Color of Truth, a very important episode that yeah people should watch if that's something that you're interested in. Definitely an episode you could even say, oh, are you interested? Well, start with this one. Why not? You know, you can yeah absolutely do that. But I think for me, yeah, Starcross, having a certain opinion about it going in and having a completely different opinion afterwards, I think that's why it stands out for me. So, all right. I think I think that's it. It sounds like, and I know we only had, 8/9 episodes to pick from. It sounds like
Go to
The
Brian.
Color of Truth, huh?
Ask Brian for his pick.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, my bad. That's just what happens when I do things out of order. So
What?
yes, Brian, your
Oh
your
yes,
honorable
mine.
mention and
Oh,
your
right.
yeah.
MVP,
That
I'll
guy.
say Star-Crossed, just because of everything that happens into it, and like everything you just said, basically. But then the thing that got me, especially when I was watching it when I was younger, was did they get married? You didn't ever, figure it out. It's just kind of left in the open. So that was
Right.
that was always kind of a neat thing. And then my favorite's going to be the pilot episode. I love all of them, especially The Color of Truth, and I don't even want to push that one aside. But I love the pilot episode just because I remember what it was like watching it the first time. Seeing that invisible door open was cool. And seeing him at the jukebox and no one else could see Al and all of that sort of lore that comes, the string theory gets told there. I love the thing with Weird Ernie and the other guy, the Trivia
Bruce
Pursuit and all
McGill.
that.
Yeah, Bruce McGill.
Bruce McGill and what's the other guy's name that's always with him? He's been in four other episodes in one
Oh,
way or
really?
another.
Oh no. Well,
I got
I was about to joke because they love to use the name Tom as well, but Sam leaped into Tom Stratton. So yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna
But yeah, I don't remember.
I gotta pull it
Was
up
it
because it's driving me crazy.
was
W.K.
was it?
Stratton. W.K. Stratton with
Oh,
is the guy with Bruce McGill all the time.
oh, the doctor, the doctor.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. Yeah, he shows up again as a cop.
right. And
That's
he
right.
voices two radio voices in other episodes.
Ah,
So,
interesting.
yep,
Yeah, the second appearance again, no spoilers, Mikey, but that second appearance of him, that episode has always stuck with me.
yeah,
So
Okay.
yeah, can't wait to get to that one too. Woo.
oh yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah. Okay. Well, I think that wraps it up, but it
Yeah,
does sound like, Color of Truth got the most mentions, probably.
for sure.
Yeah. All really good stuff. So yeah, Brian, thank you so much for joining us on this. It was a
Thank you,
ton of
Brian.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for having me. This is great.
yeah, and also, hell, let's just, tell the listeners now we already asked you to join us for this after every season. So
Happy to. Yeah.
yeah, if not sooner, we'll hear you again for the season 2 recap, which is 20 some odd episodes. So yeah, maybe we'll just get you on one of these reviews in the
Sure.
meantime kind of thing. So anywhere you want to direct people, maybe we even picked up some new people because of our coverage, but for anyone that isn't familiar with you, where can they check you out and find you at?
Al's Place, Quantum Leap fan site. The address is quantumleap-alsplace.com. It's a long URL, but you can just type in Al's Place. You might get the restaurant that's near Mikey, but you probably get us if you type Quantum Leap in with it. We've got everything that you can think of, but if you want even more, I highly suggest picking up this book by Matt Dale. It's very thick. It's got everything from the first series of Quantum Leap in there that you could ever want to know. So
Fantastic.
check
Yeah,
it out.
I'm gonna have
Pick up a
to look
copy,
it up myself.
and
Yeah.
if you have the means, please get this from Replica Props. It is amazing. I love it.
Replica props. Okay, yeah, I'll take a look, see and see how much, how many kids I
They,
might have to sell.
you'll have to sell a lot of kids.
Oh boy. Oh no. Maybe it'd be cheaper just to buy a flux capacitor. Um,
It probably would be.
yeah, yeah. Mikey, I actually didn't do it on our last episode, but well, you got off some of the social medias.
I'm back on because of uh, I follow
Sports or
Penguins things, and yeah, they're
yeah.
only on Twitter, so I'm on there.
Oh no.
Yeah, for God's sakes. Yeah, but
You
you talk to me on at Mikey underscore Graph just because I'm on there, please. On I guess it's X, Twitter, whatever the hell it is, and and also on Instagram,
I'm
Mikey
saying
underscore
Twitter.
Graph.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
it's,
never, yeah,
is
no
Yeah.
thing,
is
yeah.
whatever. But yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of, excuse me. Hmm. Apologies. Speaking of Twitter, you can find us on Quantum Leap Pod on Instagram at Quantum Leap Podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Like, if you want to leave any reviews, hey, 1 through 5, whatever. But if you give us anything less than a 5, please give us some constructive criticism, what you don't like about the show, and maybe it's something we can work on. But we'd love to hear from you guys. And if you want to interact with us and you're on the Facebook, we have a group page, the Quantum Leap Podcast Group. You can just type in like QLP group. I'm sure we'll populate, but so that is a new thing, and I keep forgetting to promote that. So we're in there. There's a few people in there that listen and that chime in and give us some feedback on our episodes. So if that's something you like to do, you can find us there as well. So again, thanks Brian for joining us, Mikey for being here and not walking off for some of my jokes earlier. But thanks for the listener for tuning in and supporting us through season 1. 4 more seasons to go, and we'll catch you guys on the next leap.